Welcome back to your live official continuing coverage of PhotoPlus Expo 2015, your official live coverage on BeTerrific. I'm Michael Artsis. We're here at the Jacob K. Javits Center in New York City, and you're watching BeTerrific. Thank you so much for watching. You are the Terrifics. You make BeTerrific special. At BeTerrific TV on all social media. And, of course, you can reach out to us via email. Connect at BeTerrific.com. Glad to be here. I've got Andrea Fasano alongside me. I'm very happy about that. You do a great job. Thank you. You're having a lot of fun?
Yeah, we had back-to-back guests, all different, super different, but really great.
Yeah.
Really great people. I like this photo expo. There's like some awesome quality people, and I feel like there's one right next to me too.
Is there? Who's next to you?
I think she's a really quality person.
Legendary Pulitzer Prize-winning photographer and co-founder of Think Tank Photo, the bags, and Mindshift.
Your favorite bag
My
ever
favorite bag ever,
in life.
Let's just be honest. And
a beauty.
Yes. And,
gorgeous.
But amazing photographer, legendary photographer, Deanne Fitzmaurice is joining us. Thank you so much for being on.
Hey, thanks for asking me to. It's great to be here. It's always a good chance to sit down and talk with you and to meet you.
Yeah.
I love that you do so much different kinds of photography, so many different kinds, right? It's not just about sports. You do a lot of sports, a lot with Tim Lincecum. You have a series with him. You did a lot with Barry Bonds. A lot of stuff out in the Bay Area. And some really great series where you get behind the scenes. You get intimate with the athletes, and you bring us in through the lens to places that nobody ever gets to go. Except for Andrea and I. We do a lot of this stuff with athletes. But most people don't get to go. And even your stuff has blown me away.
That's awesome.
And then you do stuff in Africa. And you do stuff all over the world. And you're constantly in ESPN, the magazine, in Sports Illustrated, in this, in that, in that, in this. Unbelievable. Talk a little bit about getting started in photography, because it was a different world, and I would imagine it was a lot harder back then.
Yeah, I think so. I started my career at the San Francisco Chronicle, working as a general assignment photographer. So, loved the variety of it. I'd be shooting news, sports, entertainment, food, pretty much anything. So it was a great experience. I loved the variety of it. The sports really interested me because I felt like I wasn't good at it.
Oh, funny.
Yeah, I had to figure it out. How do you shoot an NFL game? The Niners were doing great, and they'd send me out to shoot a game. So I'd be there kneeling on the sidelines trying to figure out, okay, what's a blocked punt?
Right.
Just trying to figure it out.
Totally.
And it really was pretty much a man's world, like mostly men on the sidelines, few women. But I loved it, and there was one instance was pretty crazy. I almost got killed. I waited a little bit too long, and it was John Taylor. He came running at me.
Oh, wow.
And I said, okay, this is where I die. And so I go to put down my lens, and I'm saying, okay, I'm going to get crashed into here. But instead, he just lifted me up and ran with me all the way to the sidelines.
Oh, my gosh, what a story. Did someone else capture that?
Yeah.
Oh, that is so cool.
Do you still have those photos? That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I know you kind of developed a relationship with Montana at that point and stuff, too, and that must have been amazing, especially he was the #1 player in the NFL probably.
I didn't really develop a relationship with Montana. The first player that I really developed a relationship with was Barry Bonds, and that was one of those things where
I guess you shot a lot of Montana.
I did, exactly. But with Bonds, I was really trying to figure out, who is this guy anyways? He was breaking all kinds of records, setting milestones. And so you'd think the way to get access with someone is not by confronting him, but that's what I ended up doing.
Wow.
He glared at me once when I was trying to photograph him. And so I just went up to him and I said, hey, Barry, do you have a problem with me photographing you? And if so, are there some boundaries I should know about?
Wow.
What was his response?
Well, I didn't really think
it
out.
I would think that especially Barry, like he's got those huge arms. He would have just taken his bat and gone.
To her?
Yeah. Well, I mean, she kind of said you got a problem with me.
Yeah, but I love that.
Yeah.
That was so
What if he had
ballsy.
said yes, I do? Boom.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was feeling really brave that day, apparently.
Yeah.
But he thought about it for a minute, and he said, no, I don't have a problem. What's your name and who you're shooting for? So from that point, he gave me access, and I was able to go behind the scenes, photograph him at home with his family and on the road and different things he was doing. There were all kinds of challenges with that, lots of ups and downs. It wasn't easy. Mm-hmm. It would be good for a while, and then it'd be bad. But I did get some behind-the-scenes behind-the-scenes access to show who he was. And that started this whole thing. I was still on staff at the Chronicle, but Sports Illustrated was calling me saying, hey, can you do this for us? And I said, I can't, I'm on staff.
Yeah.
So eventually I left the Chronicle, started doing these projects on my own, going independent, and then I started working more with Sports Illustrated and ESPN, and they call me for these type things to this day and ask me to do
How
behind the
cool
scenes.
is
The
that?
Tim Lincecum project was...
That's an amazing project. Talk about that project.
Yeah, so that was 2010, and I just had an assignment to go photograph Tim Lincecum, pitcher for the Giants, and he was doing great, Cy Young Awards, and I said, yeah, what is the deal with this guy anyways? He doesn't look like your average Major League Baseball player. You have the long
I like how
hair.
you're always asking what the deal is with
I
these
love
guys.
that.
I've never asked that question. I've never been like, who is Barry
Really?
Bonds?
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
I get
love that.
interested. I want to know the person behind them. You know who they are on the field. You know what they do there, but I want to know what motivates them.
Yeah.
And so anyway, it has become a thing. So I started photographing Tim Lincecum, and one portrait shoot turned into all season long. He let me photograph him.
Wow.
Sports Illustrated got on board. They said, yes, we want you to do this for us. And I got lucky too. There is some luck involved. There's a lot of perseverance, but there's also luck, where they went to the World Series that year.
That's crazy.
When I was following
Right,
Tim.
and you can't make that happen.
No.
That's where the luck comes in. If they do that, your photos become more sought after and popular.
Yes, it
Was-
became a story.
Was it hard when you started, because you said it was an all-male dominated business at that point, being on the sidelines, and not only that, also in news, being a female photographer must have been very challenging.
I just always felt like I'm going to prove myself. I took that as a challenge. It's like, I can do this as well as anyone can, if not better. I want to find my way. I want to be really focused on what I want to do. And I'm interested in the storytelling, telling the stories.
Now, as a female, and I'm an athlete, I've always loved that world, and that's where we connected. Were you ever into sports? Did you ever play sports?
Not really. I used to run. I still do. I love to run,
Right.
but I would do road races and things like that. But I grew up with brothers. I grew up with three
So
brothers.
you've got it.
Yes.
It's not like you
yes.
came from the
No,
Barbie
no,
world
no,
and then,
no.
See, that's
Yeah.
super cool to me, because you have access and to things that I would absolutely adore
Yes.
to have access to and just
Yeah.
get to know that world. And that's
I grew
incredible.
up in Massachusetts, so of course, grew up, Red
Big
Sox
sports
fan,
world.
and
Yeah.
Patriots.
Are you still a Sox fan?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
I don't know what happened this year, but
Nothing
awesome.
good.
yeah.
Not
well,
to the Sox.
do you remember last year I wasn't here because I was shooting the World Series for Sports Illustrated, and so this year, if the Giants had been in it, maybe I would have been there.
Right.
But it's even year with the Giants.
Well, oddly enough, you're here, and the Mets are in the World Series, which
Yes.
makes me very happy.
Yeah.
So technically, you could go shoot it.
yeah, I know.
Talk about the advice you give to young photographers, because also, again, you shoot sports, you shoot portraits, you shoot in Africa, you shoot all over the world, and you tell a lot of great stories through your work. I mean, you're really a storyteller. You're a journalist, and you tell so many stories. I mean, before we get to the advice, I guess I'll sidetrack that for a second and say, what about the things you've done in Africa, and the one boy who you followed from the time he was 12 till he's like 18 years old through his hardship?
Yeah, I really have a diversified group of clients and types of work that I do. And I always try to keep focused on my personal projects, because that's the stuff that I care about so much. And there is that story that I started shooting in 2003 of the Iraqi boy Salah that started when he was 9 years old. And he just turned 21, graduated from high school. He's getting prosthetics now. He was blown up by a bomb in Iraq, and so came to America. And I've just followed his whole journey. Wonderful kid, great heart.
How'd you even find out about him?
It was a daily assignment for the Chronicle. It was a one-day assignment. They said,
my
we just need a
gosh.
picture for tomorrow's paper. And now here I am 12 years later documenting his story. And so the story's growing and evolving, and and I'm there until he says I'm not.
Wow.
So where is he at now? What does he has prosthetics? He's 21, you said?
He's 21. He just graduated from high school this year. He was supposed to go to college, but he said, well, I can't go to college until I get a car. I can't get a car till I can get a job. I can't get a job until I can get prosthetics. So it's one of these things I just wish he had gone, and I'm kind of hoping he does next semester.
Sure.
he wants to be a graphic designer, and he's a great kid, and so I'm trying to do whatever I can with working with foundations and things to help move him along.
You and I worked on a project together, Shifting Grounds, that brought you to Africa to tell the story of this small village and how the women are treated and the change that is being brought about by an organization trying to help women in that part of the world, and you documented it alongside with the film crew.
Yeah, and that was a great project to work on. And just such an incredible place to work. It was in Kibera, in the slum of Nairobi. And we met some incredible people. You know, the conditions they live in are horrible, but they have such great spirit and great heart. Everyone's smiling, and yeah, so it was good. It was an incredible experience to be there, and that evolved into another project that I'm working on now, and it's a separate project, but it's about street kids, and so I've been doing a documentary film on these street kids who are living in Africa, in Kenya.
Wow. How did you get into cinema? Is it just because of the DSLRs moving into video and you said, oh, this is another avenue of storytelling?
Yeah, you know, I resisted it at first. You know, all of a sudden the cameras come along, they give us the capability to do motion, and I was just like, no, I'm a photographer, you know, I'm not going to go in that world. There's other people. Yeah, I just figured there's other people that do it better than I can. But then I came around. I started to think, well, wait a minute, I can tell these stories so much better. I can, if I can get the person to speak in their own voice. I'm interviewing Salah, the little Iraqi boy, and for him to be able to tell his story in his own words, it's really powerful.
So you think that photographers basically gain notoriety through following their passion or whatever their passions are in life and just documenting it? Is that really what happens?
I do. It sounds so cliche, but
it's amazing how many times it happens and
yes.
photographers become well known, but really and you think it's because, oh wow, they covered this story. It's because they were so passionate about it. How does it happen?
It's your personal work. It's the work that gets you noticed. It's the thing that you put the time and the energy into it, and it shows because you care about it. And so I think it's always hard balancing it. Yeah, we're all making a living, and you know that's important, but don't forget about your personal projects, because that's where you'll do your best work.
I think that's good advice.
Yeah.
What other advice do you have? I'm always curious what you look at when you're about to take a photograph and how you, I mean, you could put a camera on automatic today, you can use manual settings, you can sit there and you can play with it or tweak it. You certainly can figure out your aperture, your ISO, your shutter speed, but what do you actually look for when you're looking at a photo? If like you were going to take a photo of me, for instance, right here, what would be the story? How do you tell that story? What do you look at?
Okay.
No, we had a National Geographic photographer on the other day, was enamored with my head and kept taking pictures.
Like got up from here.
I love it.
Was
I
awesome.
love it. That's
so
great.
great.
Okay, a couple of things. First of all, with me, relationship is really important. It's about how to connect with the people, how to put them at ease so that you're in a situation where you can capture those moments. And it's not only relationships with the person that you're photographing, it's relationships with people around the edges. If I'm at a baseball game, the security guards. It's relationships with your editors, where I can call an editor and say, listen, I have a story I'd like to pitch to you. So that's a big part of it. But then there's the other part when I'm actually physically doing the photography. I think about layering a lot. So in one image, I'm thinking about, I want to photograph my subject, but I want there to be storytelling elements in front of them, behind them, in a real clean compositional way that's compelling, that is sophisticated, that tells a story.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
Very, very cool. So what other advice would you have for young photographers?
You know, I would say don't give up, just because it can be hard and you can get discouraged, but don't give up. Just keep moving forward with what you want to do. I mean, there are so many times when I'm trying to get access to a story that people tell me no, and I could just give up, but I don't, you know. It's like, you know, and if I want to work for a publication, you know, you just figure out how to do it, be smart about it, make good relationships in the industry, go to a lot of workshops and seminars, because these personal relationships you make really help carry you through to the next level when you have people that believe in you and trust you, and they'll call on you for an assignment.
Now, I mentioned you're the co-founder of Think Tank and Mindshift, and you got to get back to the booth, and I appreciate your time. You've been awesome, but this is your newest bag. It's the newest line, actually. It's called the Lily Deanne, designed not only by yourself, but the amazing and famous bag designer, Lily, and you've made this as a bag line for photography for women. There are a bunch of different
Which
lines.
is so smart.
It is think tank
I
through
think
and
it's
through with
genius.
quality and the strap, the very padded strap, and it's beautiful. Tell me about the bag.
Yes, so women have been asking us for a long time, hey, when are you going to design a bag for us? So we've been wanting to do it for a long time, but we felt like we wanted it to be a think tank bag. So, all the things we care about, like Michael said, the quality, the YKK zippers, and for it to be understated. But we don't want to. We wanted
Flashy,
the bag
showy.
Yeah, we wanted it to be feminine without being too girly. We didn't need a lot of bling on it.
Female photographers would want.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
You're still a photographer. You still want to be behind the scenes, behind
Exactly.
the camera, and not stand out too much, but look elegant, if you will.
Exactly.
Right? Classy.
Exactly. Yeah.
And this harkens to all the think tank things. I mean, it's something that somebody's not going to recognize as a camera bag immediately.
No.
It means you have better security with it. Nobody's necessarily stealing it, and you, as a journalist, can walk into buildings you couldn't normally walk into, or places with a camera bag. Plus, it's stylish, looks great, and is really durable and well made.
Yeah.
Congratulations! It's a beautiful line, and good luck with it. We're certainly promoting it and love it.
Thank
love
you.
Think Tank.
Thanks. We really appreciate it. We just tried to think about the things that were important to us and put those things into the bag.
Deanne, you're the best. Thank you for coming on. Deanne Fitzmaurice from Think Tank Photo, and of course, she's a legendary and Pulitzer Prize-winning photographer. We're going to take a quick break with your live official PhotoPlus Expo 2015 coverage here at the Jacob K. Javits Center on BeTerrific. You're the Terrifics. You make BeTerrific special. We'll be back with a whole lot more right after this.